Hello, hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday, wherever you are. And I'm super glad that you are joining us today. I hope wherever you are, you've had a good week so far. And especially, how your heart has been this week. Because we're going to be talking a lot today about our hearts and opening our hearts and why it closes, why we guard it. And the animals, I was thinking back to my own life with all my experiences of loss and just really strong craziness in the family and a lot of different things that went on, daily. I never closed my heart. And I really think it's because the animals were always there and they always showed me what love really was and what it is and how to keep that flow going in your heart and how important it is, especially now in our lives as they are changing, as I'm sure you all are in transition. I'm in transition. We're all doing this together. And what we create here as an energetic container that includes this energy with the animals and the incredible love that they share. What we do then is we take that out in the world because then we embody it in ourselves. So it's good to see you coming in. Hi, Charisse, and hi, Angie. It's good to see you. And Jenny, good afternoon from the UK. Is the weather nice there? And Anadine and Zan. I love that. Cool. So come on in, get comfortable. You know what we do here. And if you don't, you'll soon find out. It's very interactive and it needs to be that way because you are helping create what's coming next. You're helping create from the present into the next moment. And I'm just so grateful to be able to collaborate with you all and couldn't do it without you. And Debbie, I'm so glad you came. I'm glad you found me too. The animals are calling us in, especially at this time of year. Whoa, at the end of a year, especially, the energy starts heading toward the new year and ramping up. I don't know, have your lives sped up any? I know mine has, definitely. It's like you have one experience and then you can't process that before another one happens. So it is on, and it's really, really important that we stay balanced in our bodies and in our hearts. Jenny says the weather is very gloomy and wet. No, I hear you. It's sunny here today. It's been a snowy and cold here in the last few days. And hello, Claire. Good evening. It's dark and wet. Ooh, that's damp. It sounds damp. This is my sanctuary on such a day. Don't you feel like we cocoon in those kind of rainy, wet, kind of snowy environments? It's like we tuck ourselves in a little bit. And, it's just a good time to do a lot of reflection because at this time of year too, whether we realize it or not, we're in the process of letting go what no longer serves us. Letting go of maybe things we picked up along the way that we all of a sudden don't need anymore, and beliefs, physical things, and we're heading toward the new year. So there literally is kind of a shedding of things going on. Panda Peace says, good evening, Tami and everyone from Paris. I'm glad you're here. I believe you're 6 hours difference, right, from Eastern time here. And Carol, hi Tammy from Carol and Phoenix the cat. Love the name Phoenix. It's a great name. And Debbie, it's only been 1 week since I lost a mess. Oh my, I just got all over body chills. I'm so glad you're here, and I know your heart is very, very tender. And the first 3 weeks, especially after a loss, so difficult. So we are so sorry, and you have come to the right place. I promise you. We can't change what happened, but we can certainly hold hands together as we walk the journey that we all have walked, will walk. So I'm honored you're here. Thank you for that. And Panda Peace says, I'm so sorry. So they're joining, everybody's joining in. We've got you. We definitely have you here. So, you know, I stumbled on something that I wanted to read to you from my mentor, Sharon Callahan. And it was something I had printed out from her website. And I'm so glad I did, because her website doesn't exist anymore. And so I wanted just to read a little bit of what she said. It's so beautiful, and I'm sure you can resonate with what her beautiful writing portrays. So this is entitled, this article she wrote is When a Beloved Friend Dies. It's always difficult to lose someone we love, but the death of an animal companion often touches us even more profoundly than the death of a human being. Our animal companions at times grow more dear to us than our closest human friends. They love us so unconditionally and with such presence that their passing can leave a profound emptiness in the very deepest recesses of our heart and soul. The love of an animal permits us to unfold, to open up, drop our defenses, and to be naked, not only physically, but psychologically and spiritually as well. With an animal, we let ourselves be seen instead of hiding behind our personalities, our cultures, jobs, our clothing, our makeup. They know us as no one else does, in our private joys, angry rages, despair, in sickness and in health. All the while, their calm, steady presence companions us with an unwavering love like few others on this earth. Our animal companions see through us to the very soul of our soul, encouraging the unfolding of a sacred trust. If there's such a thing as a soulmate, then surely this is it. I'm going to read just one more paragraph because it's just profoundly beautiful. Because most companion animals perform so magnificently their self-appointed tasks of teaching us about unconditional love, devotion, and surrender, we often experience with them what we have only dreamed of with our human loved ones. When an animal dies, there's a natural tendency, grief we experience over thing, to match it to grief we have over not feeling loved in the same way by human beings in our lives. We also experience an outpouring of emotion that we would like to be able to express to our human mates, lovers, and friends, and feel we cannot. Our bereavement then tends to evolve into a non-specific grief over the lack of love we witness in the world in general, the absence of which is made all the more noticeable by the absence of our four-legged friend. How many of you resonated with what she said? What stood out to you in Sharon's writing? And I'd love to hear it in the comments. I stumbled, and some of you may have heard this story, but I found Sharon through a book I was reading years and years and years ago, and ended up reaching out to her to have a session. I didn't even know what a session was. And she ended up telling me that she was, just too busy, and she referred me to somebody else. She said, I have a wait list, just, I can't get to you. So I went to the somebody else, and I'm like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like that person is person. So I go back to her, and I said, how long would I have to wait? And I think she said at that time, 3 months. And I thought to myself, all right, I'm going to follow my intuition. I'm supposed to speak to this person. I don't know why. But I followed that, and I waited. I had no idea what I'd be talking about. But that's something also with your intuition, is how to follow it, and often doesn't make any sense. Like, I didn't even know her. I just felt this resonance strongly. And, lo and behold, when I did talk to her, we talked about a lot of things. We talked about how animals keep us on our blueprints, and how I definitely was on my blueprint with the animal. And she actually stepped into my life right before my life was getting ready to transition in a huge way. I didn't know it then. 6 months after I met with her, my sister passed, and it upended everything in my life. It was a super big shift because it, talking about the grief from before, it brought up all the grief that I had not, or I thought I'd processed it, but I hadn't. But in the 15 years I worked very closely with her, she truly helped me understand in ways with the animals and the animals' teachings that I can now, share with you, that we can now all benefit from her gentle wisdom. So I just wanted to give you a little background on that. And Panda P says, yes, some unhealed wounds from childhood resurfaced with the loss of my darling Kika. I relate to that. Did you know you had those unhealed wounds? Because I surely didn't. I ended up grieving my mother and father at the same time, my sister, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is just, it was a volcano that came up. And so it can be quite like the wave that knocks you down. And Angie said, I've grieved more over Buffy than any human I've lost. Wow, that does resonate. And I'm sure we all feel that there's just something incredibly magical and special about our animals. And Jennifer, my dad has passed for 5 years, and although I love and miss him, the loss of my dear Maltese dog Penny has been much more devastating and painful. And I think when they pass, depending on where we are in our life cycle as well, it can hit us in really difficult ways. And I see Cherie says, after Fenrir passed, my life was turned upside down, but I'm learning about myself. I love that you're noting that, because it's true. Death is a portal that we go through with our animals. It's forced soul growth, and we may not like for it to be there, but I always start looking for the gifts and understand that, this is happening for a reason. So Jenny says, compared to any human loss, the loss of my Winnie has deeply broken my heart in a way I never imagined possible. As my loss of Jay was not like anyone else's loss. Jay's death ripped open my childhood. It was a shock. I'm going to be talking, going forward about that shock, about the soul shock we go through, and especially those first 3 weeks. It's a profound time that, when we look back, it's like going into some time warp or having jumped a timeline or something. So let's plan on talking more about that. So I think we're deciding that it's pretty devastating. It's open. And so I have a question for you all. Has it impacted how you love? Has it impacted how your heart feels? And let's do a heart check right now. Where is your heart right now in this moment? If you tap in, drop in, put it in the comments. Is it sad today? Is it hopeful? Is it broken today? Where are you in this moment? Because I want you to get used to being able to take the pulse at any given time of where you are energetically. So pop it in the chat for me. I'd love to see that. And so Helen says, losing Rex brought up losing my husband, as Rex was my husband's dog. And my Maisie was a gift from my husband. It was a terrible time for me. That is such a journey, because it's like connected threads, all of it, connected threads. And, we have one thing that happens and then it opens up more and more. So, Helen, I'm familiar with that journey that you are talking about, with you in particular. And it's not for the faint of heart, honestly. It takes courage to go through. And even if we have courage, it doesn't mean we're not going to buckle and have our meltdowns. In fact, I think the more we honor where we are, the more it allows it to flow, and we're not stopping up the drain. Susan says, heart is heavy today. Oh, And Debbie says, I'm listening to advice, but still broken-hearted, of course. Sometimes that advice can't quite penetrate. It's like, I always say it's like cotton being stuffed in your ears, where you hear some like mumbling, but it can't quite penetrate because we've got this, all this intensity going on inside. So we are holding that with you, and hope that some today helps in your journey. And Jennifer says, I'm still loving, even though my heart feels as though I love with pieces of me, pieces of you. That's actually really beautifully said. We feel like we are in pieces, don't we? It's like puzzle pieces that, I had a dream recently where the puzzle flew off the table and it broke into pieces. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I start trying to put these chunks back together, only they won't go. It's about, we have pieces of ourselves that is left. And Monica says, my grief is still hitting me in waves, but suddenly the openness to a new cat has entered. How interesting. And here's what I really like about your describing that is waves. If you'll notice, a lot of us describe the grief as being hit by waves. Grief is a river. It's a really deep one. And it does come in waves. And the important thing about waves is that they hit us and then they move on. And, we can be in a really strong wave and it can knock us down, but ultimately it moves through. So I'm going to be curious as we talk today about this new cat that you just mentioned. And Sharice, my heart is full of the love I have for Fenrir. I feel him dancing around me. I love that. Really, really nice imagery. Really good imagery. The more you keep doing that too, the more you keep sharing this, the more the animals are coming in and they're actually giving you that wording to share with all of us. So they are, it's like they're the puppeteers here and we're all just kind of rolling along with it. Jenny says, my heart's at peace when I become present in the now. That's when I can feel Winnie's presence with me. So I had this idea about the presence and the now and how we shift into presence and then they're there. That's there. It's when we're in our minds or we're, reading the past, when we're feeling our ache and, all of that. It keeps us from that beautiful essence that's always there. It's always available. And if I had time today, I would share with you really, really powerful meditation that Spirit gave me the other day that I'm like excited to be able to get to everybody so that you can use it in your own lives. I love that. They're congratulating you on the new kitty. Angie says, I saw a shepherd puppy being walked yesterday, and then my husband came home and said he was thinking at work yesterday that I needed a puppy. How interesting. All right, so for your intuition, general rule of thumb, notice what you notice. And so basically we're always noticing things. We're always almost peripherally noticing them. And later, it's why I say, and I did see that. Catch. I love that. And I hope we are, because I just got word that the connection. So, Alex, if you don't mind. Yeah, my connection may be giving, bear with me. Ever since Hurricane in Nashville, it's a little testy. We're going to work on the back end. So I'll continue working with you, Hermie. Hopefully I'm not frozen in time. Yes, everyone like give it some time. They have to get used to their new state and connect with our frequency, and vice versa. It's a kind of a, if they've shifted, we've got to shift on our end and connect with their frequency. Yes, I know the connection's bad. My apologies. We're working on it. Sometimes that happens, and I believe it's Mercury retrograde, is it not? So maybe we can be patient. I need all of your attention here to help kind of like, let's bring this connection back. So if you feel a little walled off, if you don't feel like you can even open your hearts to in the right place, and I think it'll be helpful for us to talk about the heart shapes. My instructor gave me this term years and years, and it's so true. Basically, we were having a conversation, like an instruction. I mean, Katie was just like, this is the way it goes. So she was very direct and to the point, and she was telling me, how humans go into on mode. That's a good thing. Are you in heart lockdown mode today? Your heart's still alive and beating, but you've got a drawbridge that's gone up, and nothing can cross through. So I want you to take a look at these visuals for just a minute. What do you see there? There's, every heart has a shape, a message, a gift, and a story to tell. And we have any number of these rolling around at any given time. So with you right now in the moment, taking a look at this graphic, and I'll read them off, and just really, I want you to see the graphics and how they, describe where you are. There is the broken one, which is always, really common thing that we say, right? It's broken into pieces. There's the receptive one that maybe you're more on the healing end of it, and a navigating heart. That's when we're trying to get through things. Stuck heart. What does that mean? Does that mean you can't move forward and you can't move backward? You're just kind of ruminating in it. Flourishing. Would that be on the other side of the spectrum where we're starting to heal? Healing. Cherie says she's got a healing heart. Healing is not for the faint of heart, by the way, either. Healing hurts. And it is such a necessary part of our growth. What about a heavy heart? Where you just feel weighed down? Or an expanding heart? Where it's both positive, it's on the positive and the negative side of the spectrum, or the higher and the lower, if you want to put it that way. Is your heart starting to expand? Maybe the little kitty, that new cat that's coming, is maybe opening up the expanding part. Some of you are saying, Helen, broken and heavy. I'm so sorry. Maybe today we can, I don't know, see if we can borrow another heart shape, just to see. Debbie says heavy. Are there any others on there that you notice that really speak to you? Cherie says transformed. Your journey has been one that's very intense and intentional. So I love that you're able to resonate with these, and I'm sharing them with you so that as you're, going through your life and your days, you can kind of do the pulse check in your heart. And Jeff knows all too well this journey. And it's good to see you, Jeff. I'm glad you're here. Take a look at that and see, do you have a whole heart today? Any of you? Okay. All right. So let's look at this for a minute. Can you have a broken heart and a treasuring heart at the same time? Or do they have to be in the same spectrum? Or can both exist? Angie says healing and open, but it's taken a little over a year to get here. Healing and open. What a beautiful journey. It does, the time it's taken is really only part of your soul growth. So, and soul journey, your soul path. So my guess is the person you were a little over a year ago is different than who you are now, because your heart has actually expanded. So we have the the expanding, the contracting, the whole, the treasuring. Do you treasure, even though you might be hurting? Broken and a little angry. I struggle because she had dementia. That piece is something I think it's important to name the pain. And we'll do a little exercise in a bit that'll help with that. So you hang on to that because it'll help you, believe it or not. Cherie says, yes, multiple heart shapes can be active at one time. So we're on that third row, treasuring, guarded, got to open with the little lock, and the guarded with the lock down. Panda Peace says, broken and true. Broken and true. And Jennifer says, even though it's dating loss, she was so ill. I know it wouldn't have been fair to keep her here longer. We let them go because we love them. Because we love them. Always remember that. And they are so appreciative because they do not want to remain in bodies that are not going to function and be what they need to be. And more times than not, they need to get into place to help you on the next leg of your journey. And they couldn't have done that in their bodies that were breaking down. So thank you for that. And Susan says, treasuring. That's a favorite of mine because even though my heart can ache, I can still treasure what I had and be so appreciative of it. And that kind of helps me. It lifts me up a little bit. It's like, a little tool to just ask, well, do I find any gifts in that? Like, I know I feel awful, but what gifts are still there? Carol says, healing and treasuring. Beautiful. And Janet, expanding into transformation. Transformation is such, there's a lot of that going on right now, and our animals, especially in their passings, are ushering us into this new space. It's rebirth for all of us, and the animals are right there with us. I'm seeing Anna Dean says, there is a heartbreak, but not having all the worry in my heart anymore is a relief. So you have a relieved heart too. Yes, we're holding both. It's not an either or. Beautifully said. And Jenny says, mending, but feeling lost and so alone. I'm truly grateful for this group. We are grateful for you. We do, the animals bring us all together. It is truly an animal network, how we find each other. So we can mend and feel lost and alone together. Any of you have an angry heart? What about a smiling heart? Several of you have said mending. And Janet with her transforming heart. Sharice, navigation and whole. To be able to feel ourselves as whole again is huge because, again, we feel so broken up in pieces and almost like we can't find the parts of ourselves that we were before. And we get lost in the kind of the mess of it all. So that's good that you can feel, you can touch the energy of that. So we've got fortified. How many of you have grown from your experience with your animal? How many of you feel like you've expanded who you are, that you're a different person and you're not ever going to be the same because they came in your life? And that's on one end of the spectrum is a hard thing to think about. At the same time, it is so incredibly important that we take all the gifts they shared and then bring them out into the world. So how many of you have felt a frozen heart? And how would that, let me think a minute, how would that be different from a stuck heart? Or would you say they're the same? Is frozen, okay, let's look at it. So is frozen a more, not more intense, and well, kind of more concretized feeling than stuck. What does that say to you? I'd love to know what you feel about those two in particular, the stuck versus the frozen and vice versa. Deanna says, feels like navigating all the time with many different hearts showing up. That's right, because, and Katie was instructing all of us through me that we need this visual because that's actually how it is, that our heart shapes are, and they're changing moment to moment. That's the other thing. You may start out one way in the morning and end up completely different in the afternoon or even right now. For instance, take the pulse of when you first came on the live stream to right now. Have you felt any shift? I think it just helps to have these visuals, because when we can see something, when we can have the courage to look at it, it doesn't feel like it has to lurk in the shadows or hide. We're calling it forward. We're naming it. It's important to name it, not to judge it at all, because it's actually there to help you. Anadine says it's hysterical. All those states moving through me. Yeah, it's like it's a party. It's a party in there of all those heart shapes, and they can switch in a minute. Monica, does stuck heart still include openness? And frozen does not. Okay, that's a great question. So frozen, when you say frozen, do you feel like a block, like a frozen block doesn't move, it stays stationary? And a stuck heart doesn't, like, it also contain the energy of when we aren't stuck. It also has a movement in it. I would agree. Interesting. That's a great observation. And Angie says, frozen, not knowing where to go or what to do. Stuck, I see as maybe staying in one stage of grief. I like that too. So true. Now, have any of you felt both of these in your life? Have you ever been frozen? Just don't know where to go or what to do? And then stuck, you're just doing a loop. What did somebody say recently? She said she had loopy tears. And I was like, that is so interesting. What are loopy tears? And she said, well, it's when you keep telling the same story over and over, and the tears are the same, and they're not necessarily as cathartic as they are connected to our stories. Stuck seems easier than frozen, Susan says. I would agree. Stuck has got a little hope to it. Maybe one day I won't be stuck. Frozen is like, oh my gosh, somebody get the blowtorch and melt this. Especially in frozen can mean somebody's like, back off, right? That can have a fierce energy to it. And Jane says, yes, thank you. Guilty and empty heart. And that's also, I'm wondering, what I just felt was like a numbness. Empty, such a void and a vacuous place. I think it can also lead to kind of like wandering, like you're lost, wandering. And Debbie says, this group is so comforting. How can I know when you have another live video? Thank you for asking. Well, I normally do them every other week. And I think the next one, let me look, because I can't ever remember, because then we have Thanksgiving. Thank you. The next one is December 3rd. And so while we're on that topic, thank you for asking me, because I am liable to forget when I'm in the mode with you like this, because I'm so excited to be here and engage with you that I got download from Spirit that in December, and right now the dates, Spirit dropped it in, like, I'm not kidding, just seconds before I went on air. I'm going to offer a really special 2 events, actually 2 free events, December 5th and 19th. And I'll, make sure you're on the my mailing list. So I'll be announcing some more information about that. And I'd love to have you join, because December's a big month. It's a month about really assessing where we've been and celebrating our animals and honoring our relationships. Almost like, I can see blessing of the animals that we all join together and do, especially with, the ones that are homeless, the ones that are forgotten. So important. So I hope you join me, because this is going to be, I'm really excited for this. But I'll be getting more information out to you in the newsletter. And then I also want to tell you that I have also been thinking and about doing a membership. And I want to create, and I want you to join me if you want to, a community where we really take this energy of community to the very next level. And again, I'll be sending out more information in a newsletter, but also I'll be asking, I want to hear your input. I want to hear from you. What would you be interested in if we had this community of like-minded souls, animals that draw us together? We can create from the very beginning. And so I love, as you know, I love to collaborate with you. I love to hear your voices. I love to hear your animals' voices. So that is upcoming, and I can't wait, because we've got a lot that Spirit has stepped up, and it's time. We got to do it. What our energy gathers together, it's powerful. It's powerful. Jane said, I had a feeling you would say December 5th before you said it, Foxy's birthday. Perfect. I love that. See, I'm getting all over body chills. That's confirmation. Hang on, I've got one that wants up. That is definitely confirmation that Spirit is online. We got the direct dial in. So I'm hoping, as great, Sharice, I'd love to have you there. I'd love to have all of you. Debbie, new to this, how to become a member. We'll start by, this is all forming like literally as we speak. Spirit is like doing the drawing and wanted me to announce it today. And so make sure you're on my newsletter, and I'll be sending out some information. And again, I can't wait to hear what you're looking for, what your heart wants to create, because we do it together. So tell me where your heart is right now, with the graphic right there with the heart shapes. Where's your heart right this minute? Can you tell me in the comments? I want to just curious to see if it's shifted even slightly. And if it hasn't, it's fine. I want you also to keep in the habit of dropping in to see where you are. And it helps you understand yourself a little better. So let's do something together. Let's just do something right now. And before we do that, let me check. Phil Clark wants me to stay connected. Once connected, always connected. Yes, absolutely. The animals are like, don't disconnect. Don't give us a busy signal. Yeah. And Deanna, open and excited for the new. And Angie, yes, Deanna and Angie, open and receptive. I love it. I love it. Hopefully for healing heart. Smiling, Jenny says. I love it. See, you've already lifted the energy. We just changed the frequency just now. I hope you felt it. And we're getting ready to do it again. All right, so you can do this wherever you are. I want you to place one hand over your heart, and then one over your stomach area, your solar plexus, and just pause for a minute. Just close your eyes if that feels comfortable. And then you take a slow, deep breath in, and then just let out a sigh. Drop your shoulders. And take another deep breath in. Bring in light. Bring in, even if it's this tiniest light, bring some light into your heart area. And hold it there for a minute. Let it expand. And then exhale the tension. Now tell me, what is your heart feeling like right now? Just right now. Is it soft? Is it tight? Is it heavy? Is it numb? Is it warm? What is it? What do you feel when you just did that short little exercise? Don't judge wherever's there. Just notice. Just notice. And then close your eyes again. Drop into your heart. And let your pet know, I'm here. I'm listening. I'm open to receiving all that you have to share. That's like a little, Claire says comforted, and Anadine says spacious, beautiful. Deanna, calm. And Barb, so good to see you. Calm and relaxed. And Cherise, warm, full of love. It's nourishing. And Debbie says still heavy. Understandable. But just in us dropping in to do that, it comforts that heavy part of yourself. It's like soul nourishing, even if it does feel quite heavy. I want you to drop back into your heart. I want you to see a golden light, a golden thread that connects you to your pet. Just feel it. See that golden from your pet and back to you. Feel it. Get the movement of it. Because I can see it. It has it's a glowing, it's got sparkles to it. It's a really alive, it's a true connected thread. And then say what you need to your pet. I love you. I'll never be disconnected with you. You will always live here. Now, you can do this anytime you feel like you're closing off. And sometimes, we need to do it several times a day. We need to remind our bodies that our hearts can stay open and feel again. They can feel soft again, even if we have the heaviness. So again, that's kind of like a heart opening sit up that you can do anytime. Again, has your energy shifted any since when you started with at the beginning with us, or even if you came midway through? Carol says a closeness. I feel a closeness with the group too. Do you all feel it? Do you feel this? We're in a group. It's like we're in a room and we're just chatting, but we've got our energies all together, very synchronized. Susan says it does comfort. Oh, Debbie, I haven't been able to eat today, but maybe I can thanks to Tami and this group. We're all sending you tremendous healing energy. This is such a powerful transmission that the animals give us each time we meet. Even more we will up level even more with this membership coming, because it's going to be an amazing. We already have a great one, so there's no telling we're going to direct us to. So, all right, I'm always about we got to give you some tools. And Sheree says, I do this every morning. Super important to start your day like that, by the way. That's that tone for your day. Good. I'm glad it's helpful. All right. So have another another one to share with you. And I've got graphics for you. So if we can little extra, then we'll have tools. How to reopen heart to love again. So number one, we can shift the graphic, is I want you to notice and name it. Just like we've done some of this earlier. Acknowledge if you're afraid or cautious about opening your heart again to love. Just notice. You can say, I'm scared to love again. When we look at our emotions, it begins to soften the wall that exists. So if you notice that your heart is closed up, you can do these steps. First one, notice and name it. Sonia always says, when we name it, we claim it, meaning we're not we're bringing it into the room with us. So if you were going to say something, would you say, I'm scared to open up my heart again? I'm scared to love. If so, that's, again, no judgment. So if any of you have those thoughts and want to share them, be happy to hear them. Jane says, yes, they're in our energy. It's powerful. I agree. We have raised the frequency tremendously in doing this together. It's very organic. And that's why I always love having these live streams, because I always know it's going to be great. And I always know the animals are working very tirelessly to keep us open and not shut down. So yes. Oh, Angie, sir, I teach to put names to your feelings. It's important. Don't shut it down. So step 2, a little wonky right now, my apologies. I want you to try to feel without the story. This may be a harder one to work. Let yourself feel the ache without the mental loop of what if. Can we possibly feel without having a story around it? Again, place your hand over your heart and breathe into it just for a minute. Give it some room to breathe. You may hear your heart respond. It's getting in the space you're holding. The heart heals through presence, not logic. So if any of you are able to do that, let me know. Can we feel without the story? If we can, does that feel without the story? What remains? So number 3 would be, I love this one, with the love. And Carol says, I wants me to love again. That's beautiful. And are you willing? Are you willing to love again? Willing to open again? Shri says, yes, it feels clear. The reconnecting with the love and not the loss helps dissolve any fear that loving equals leaving them behind. I recently talked to somebody who had lost a partner, a human partner, and he declared to me he didn't want to be happy again. He said, everybody gets through things and they're happy. I don't want to be happy again. I said, why? And he said, because that means I would be leaving them behind. And And so he wants to stay in that space. And it's such a fear if we love again, but it is so the opposite of that. My pet spirit expands through and beyond. It's not a replacement. It's a continuation. It's a saying hello again, not goodbye. Reconnecting with love puts you back online. You know, the form changed, but the love is still very active. And when you touch that love, you're touching your pet. You're touching the essence of your pet. So step 4 is another one that I really, really like, is to say a blessing and invite. You know, offer a blessing to yourself and give yourself permission to explore. I teach a little step process about, you know, any kind of regrets that we can turn into gratitudes, and then we can turn into blessings. And it's huge shift of energy that happens because we don't realize that we can, you know, feel guilty and have all this regret and shame and blame and whatever else is rolling around in there. And believe it or not, we still have joy in there over having experienced them. We still have gratitude. So gratitude is the fastest way to connect. It's like instant. You know, those two words like thank you to our pets opens that portal so fast. That is, you know, animal communication in its finest. And we're not taught that. So bless and invite. May my heart open again at a time that it find me. It was. That's the other thing. Recognize it. Monica says she's scared to bring in a new cat and love again because I know it could never be as huge of a love. Is it fair to a new cat? Yet I know Bug has this in my plan. Well, I would have to challenge your thinking. How do you know it could never be as huge of a love? How do you know? You think maybe, but I don't know. If it has this, you can't know because you hadn't experienced peace yet. So I would ask for a huge love to come in and try not to block what Bug has planned for you. But I love that you recognize that Bug's bringing the new cat to you. So you'll have to keep us posted on the cat. So when you say the step 4 to yourself, how does it make you feel? Do you feel a little bit of an opening? Do you feel more contracted? Do you feel more spacious? Just notice. In step 5, and you can do these independent of each other, which is the really nice thing. You don't have to do them in order. They're kind of each their own step, all on their own. So take a small step of trust. Encourage one gentle act. Movement activates the rhythm. Movement in Greek important, like hugely important. And I'll talk to you more on that. It moves energy. So, you know, example, you talk to another animal, or you're a little cat that may be coming into your life, or even the act of nurturing a plant. In the grocery store, in the eye, imagine your pet's little radiator and sharing that movement. Just remember, it's all movement because the act of love tells your heart it's safe to open again. Because it's very safe. And Dragonfly says, I agree. I'm a pet sitter and I love on my clients' pets every day. That's a powerful, that's powerful love as you constantly kind of touch that it expands even more. So I have a question for you before we have to go today. What might be waiting on the other side of your heart's door? What if opening your heart didn't mean losing your pet, but letting them guide you into even greater? What if? And that's what if questions are the best thing to open your heart with. Easiest thing, it bypasses the mind. It goes straight to the source. Well, what if? What if you had a huge love again? I know you think or feel like you know, right? I understand that. But what if? Be willing to be surprised. And I'd be curious in our couple of minutes left, what would that look like for you? If you could vibe that heart door opening and love coming in, can you put some words in the so that we have something that we can carry with us as we go through our days and our week? So expansive. What would that look like for Deanna? So expansive. Ooh, I like it. I'd love to hear more. What would it look like? What would it feel like? Can you imagine? Who would you be? I love you too. I'm so glad you're here. So, as you, one more breath, I want you to take a breath into your heart. Let it go there and imagine your pet standing in that golden light saying, "You're not leaving me. You're bringing me with you." And it's true, because that's the truth. Love never ends. It just keeps expanding. And with that said, I want to say thank you so much for being here. It's such an honor that you come and you contribute and you share your beautiful hearts and your animals. And I love what you're putting in there, the yellow brick road of possibilities. That is really nice, really nice. That's what would look like on the other side of the door, right? Maybe fostering rescue pups would honor Sophie. Beautiful. Again, the ideas that are dropping, we have like opened up a huge energy portal here. So I would not be a bit surprised as you go through your day after we've met, that you're going to start having drop-ins, because that's what happens with spirit. We open up the portal and then spirit takes over. And let's see, Jennifer said, "I got my new Maltese puppy. I love her. Although it's new, she will never take Penny's place in my heart." No need to. No need to. No need to. Your heart can hold it all. It's an even exchange, I love it, of unconditional healing. All right, all of you healers and you intuitives and you animal lovers, thank you again for being here. And I can't wait to see you next time. And in the meantime, don't forget, sign up for my mailing list because we got things to talk about. All right, I will see you next time. Have a great